Hi, I'm David.
I'm Jen.
And we're confused because I never start this off, but welcome to David Christopher's YouTube channel. Today I was feeling bright and festive, so we're going to be doing kind of tropical themed wreath here. I even wore my brightest colored shirt that I own, blue, with a little faint like coral in it.
I didn't get the memo. Obviously, I didn't know we were doing tropical colors today.
We'll do some other stuff later.
These are really pretty. So these are all going to go in a wreath?
Yep, that's the plan.
Awesome.
For those of you that want some really bright color on your door, maybe stick a couple of flip-flops in it and have a beach wreath.
Flip-flops. You could add some flip-flops to it. All right, well, without further ado, we will go ahead and get started on today's video. And remember that everything that you see here will be linked below, so it makes shopping very easy. And if you check out the description box, we'll have some links there as well. And we're here to help you, here to answer any of your questions if you have any. We hope you enjoy this and you feel inspired and that you get creative and come up with something on your own.
So we're going to be starting with our longest stems first, our garden delphinium spray, because we're going to use this as kind of like a long wreath. We're going to use, we're not going to cover it all the way around. We're going to pick a side, and I guess we're going to pick the left side because I'm going to pick the left side. Not sure why. But we're going to let some of this hang down. We're going to make this really a one-sided, really bright, really colorful wreath that would look great on your door. Jen will probably take this one home too. Seems to be the going thing. She likes to take all the wreaths home. So this one is going to be quite tall. It's on a 24-inch grapevine wreath base. So we've got some really good size that we can work with here. So we're going to use a lot of that length to our advantage and make this really showy. Using a lot of our pinks, and we've got some yellow, and our kind of a turquoisey blue. But we're really just elongating the frame of this wreath quite a bit. So if you have one of those massive double doors, this would be a good option. Something like this. And I do kind of bend my stems around on these just because if the glue ever lets go, I don't want it to come out of the wreath at all, or have any option to come out of the wreath. There we go. And we're bending these so that they've got some movement, so they're not just completely straight. It's not as much fun when they're just like completely straight like that. So we're going to bend these out just a bit here and there, give them some life, give them some detail. Don't make them look very stiff like me. Now we're going to be using this tropical leaf because we're going with our tropical kind of theme on this. I think this is called Dracaena on the tag, but I think that's also incorrect. We're just going to call it a tropical leaf. We're going to bend those also, just so they don't, you know, go completely flat on us. Just hide some of this grapevine wreath. And these are like a UV coated leaf that you can, that works really well in the sun, so that it helps protect the fabric from the ultraviolet rays, keeps it from fading longer. And a few more leaves. We're just still kind of outlining this one side of our wreath here. Get some kind of three-dimensional sticking out at us. So we want to make it look like everything's growing. One last leaf. Now we've got our leaves in there. We're going to move on. And we're going to move on with our orchids. These are dendrobium orchids, and they're in this slightly lighter pink shade than our delphinium that we used. And these we're going to want to let them hang a little bit. So it's really important to get those stuck in your wreath really well. And then we're going to let them bend. They've got a good stiff wire in them so that we can bend those out to the correct positioning that you want, because these orchids get kind of top heavy and then they start to lean over, and you want to keep that as natural as possible, even though we're making something that's artificial. And it's okay, you may see me kind of like holding the wreath sometimes and pushing down a little bit harder. It's okay to be kind of forceful with the grapevine wreath, because you want the stems in there very deep so that they don't come out and don't have anywhere to move. That keeps everything really well in place so that you don't have to worry about it. Then I'm going to move on to I love these yellow hydrangeas. I know it's not a natural color, but I just think they're one of the best. I love this specific yellow color. It's kind of buttery yellow. It's a little bit brighter than that, but you know, it's soft, but it's still yellow. So we're going to use some of those and try and get those up here in the middle of some of these pieces. And as you can see, I'm cramming that in there. It's pretty rough, but as long as you go in with the grain of the grapevine wreath, you're fine. It's going to just go down inside of that wreath, and you want that really secure connection. And get those. Sometimes you need to pull some of the hydrangea around, especially if you're grabbing it to cram it down in there. You might need to readjust some of it as you have it placed, because you kind of crammed it all together, and you need to just pull it back out and let it separate so it's that really big full show that you were going for. Okay, we got those in. I'm going to move on to my hot pink peony bundle here. We're calling this Beauty. And these are just individual stems that have all been tied together with some raffia. So we separate these out. These are one of my favorite things to use. They take up a lot of space. They give you some, they break up some of the hydrangea. If you're somebody that likes to use a lot of hydrangeas, they'll break up that shape of the hydrangea for you. And they've really got a lot of great colors in this peony bundle. They're really, some are really muted and some are really bright and festive. We need that really bright and festive color for our wreath. We're doing this tropical color combination. I'm still putting my little hooks in the stem to keep these from coming out because these are a little bit thinner wire. We want to make sure that they don't move too much.
I'm not sure if you told what size vase you're working with today.
I did.
You did?
I
Okay.
think I did that in early stages.
I must have missed it. I mean, I can tell it's like a 24-inch.
Yeah, it's a 24-inch grapevine wreath, so we're just extending that frame to make it taller and lower, so it's longer. It's not going to end up much wider. It's going to end up, you know, mostly just in length. We're adding a lot of visual impact. So if you've got that gigantic, tall front door, this would be a great option for you. You need something bright to show up. Just one more of the peony.
This is a big change from last week.
It is, yeah.
Neutral colors.
I'm a little ADD, so I go back and forth between different color combinations and need, you know, lots of variety. And that's one good thing about my job is I get a lot of variety in it. And so now I'm going to be cutting up our clematis stem, which I'm sure if you've seen any of our more recent videos, you've seen me use because I do love using this. This brighter green color is just going to give us a little bit extra vibrant color into the wreath.
Last week you used the two-tone, but this just looks like the
This is the light green.
light green.
Yeah. And that light green is really going to show up against some of our dark green leaves and this darker green, darker colors in the wreath. And it's very easy to bend into place, and it's got that very vine architecture to the stem. So it wants to kind of hang, it wants to kind of look like it's growing, it's creeping up and around the stems. You can just kind of get it in and then kind of play with it, let it place it where you want it to go, as opposed to just like keeping it completely the way it just ends up in there. Let's maneuver it around and get it to take some real shape. Just a couple more pieces. I just cut this up into multiple different stems so that it's very easy to use, very user friendly, and it goes a lot further that way than if you try to cram the entire branch in at one time. But color works really well for this wreath. And the style is going to make it a little bit more wispy, as we got several things kind of packed into this particular side. to shape right. And I've got glue. I am dipping everything in my glue pan, and I'm getting glue all over my fingers. That's one of the flaws in the glue pan, but I do that with glue gun anyway, so it doesn't really matter. It's just faster to do it with a glue pan. And then I'm going to add, just to break some of this color up, I'm going to add this turquoise, kind of like a funky tealish color into the wreath. I'm going to separate these out so they go a little bit further. I can find a good spot to get it in there. Sometimes that's a little challenging. Just keep pushing until you find a spot. You don't want to just be content with wherever it feels like it lands, because sometimes that won't hold very well. You want to make sure that it's really, really well in there. I'm going to add one over here, even this out a little bit.
Get us a little closer view. These pretty flowers.
And then I think I'm going to work on, in the middle here, I think I'm going to use a little bit of yellow ribbon. If I can find my scissors. So I don't need a lot of loops here. We're just going to fill in a little of this space in the middle. Make us loose kind of bow, nothing too tight.
We do have that ribbons and bows playlist.
Yeah, we have, if you want to know how to tie a bow or something along those lines, to have extra videos somewhere on a playlist. YouTube. Our YouTube channel?
Yes, the ribbons and bows playlist.
Okay. Trying to get this around my grapevine here, or through my grapevine, or the other. Whichever is easier for you, we're just gonna pull this back in as tight as we can, wire that on. And then we're gonna separate some of this out and bring some of our floral around more on top of it, so this looks like it's tucked into the wreath. Let this go behind the peony here. And then we're going to cut, fold this over and cut these. So they look more manicured, more professionally placed here. And then I'm going to add a couple more tails just coming out. I don't necessarily need more bow, but I would like some of my ribbon to hang down on the side over here. So we're just gonna wire in a couple of tails, different lengths. So we're just not gonna make that perfectly even. And we'll just twist this wire. We're just cheating because we don't necessarily need all of the ribbon to come from the same location. Since it's supposed to look like it's woven into our floral, into our wreath, I can get it to go through the wreath. Sometimes they cooperate, sometimes they do not. I'm gonna let this one come more this direction and this one hang free on the other side. We just want to make sure that we cut these different lengths, that they don't end up the same length, because that just doesn't look proper. There we go. So I've got those cut. I'm going to keep going with some of my turquoisey blue here. Put some of that in here on top of our yellow, so that really pops. Just a little bit more of this. We'll be just about finished. One more. Okay, I think we are finished. I
think this wreath is even prettier in person. I'm not sure that the camera is even picking up how pretty it is with the vibrant colors and
all the glue hanging from it. I'm still figuring something out.
It's just part of it. It is so gorgeous. I love all of these colors. So if you like colorful wreaths or tropical wreaths, it doesn't even have to be, I mean, it looks tropical, but if you like a lot of color, then this is the wreath for you. Make sure that you like this video, that you subscribe so you don't miss any of the other videos that we have. Check out some of our other playlists. We have all kinds of stuff out there and lots of stuff planned for the future, right?
Of course.
Do you have anything you'd like to say before we tell everyone goodbye?
I don't know how to talk about work. Bye.
Bye.